Meenakshi Sundaram and my senior. So, my senior in the IAS and also from the cadre to which I belong, Karnataka, and friends from NCAR. So today I was happy to be here. So this is because this is both on water and on management by panchayats, both of which we are interested in the ministry. That water and decentralization have a very close relationship in the sector also, and this has been realized right since the inception of the drinking water mission, and Dr. Meenakshi Sundaram was very much involved in that. Initially, we had something called a sector reforms, in which the sector was one of the major aspects was that planning, implementing and managing rural water supply schemes should be done by communities, village water and sanitation communities or gram panchayats. So that was started in a few districts, about 50 to 60 districts. Based on the success of that experience, it was expanded as Swajal Dhara, a scheme that sought to bring in community involvement in a wholesale manner by giving 90 incentive to the communities of 90% from central funds, and the communities contribute 10%. But because of there were two parallel streams. On the one hand, you had one community-led scheme where the community had to contribute 10%, and you had another regular departmental scheme where there was no contribution expected from the community. So obviously, communities which had to contribute would say, why should we contribute when the next village is not contributing? So that was, we thought over this, and in the 11th 5-year plan, it was decided that community involvement at all stages of drinking water supply scheme should be mainstreamed in the program. It should not be a standalone program whereas the main program does not talk about community involvement, and we have a standalone program where community involvement is there. So now it has been mainstreamed in the program itself, and the National Rural Drinking Water Program itself. The guidelines state that the community should be involved. That is the Village Water Sanitation Committee, which should be a subcommittee of the Gram Panchayat, should be involved at all stages of the drinking water supply project. But since these guidelines came out in 2009, we also had an incentive of 10% of the allocation for states which actually did this devolution of handing over schemes to panchayats. This was in the criteria for allocation of funds. So we started this in 2009. But we saw over the last 2 years that states were not making any impact. Guidelines remained only on paper, whereas on the ground, communities were not being involved, village water sanitation committees were not being formed, they were not being given training, they were not being made subcommittees of panchayats, and they were not involved either in implementation or in management in most of the states. So this was just, as in many cases, guidelines remained only on paper. And this 10% incentive also was being, what states should say is that we have handed over all, say, hand pumps to the panchayats. The state would say, all our hand pumps have been handed over to panchayats, here is the government order. And we would take that as the criterion for allocation of these incentive funds. That, okay, the entire population in the state is now managing funds. But then again, we realize that mere issuing orders will not lead to the actual involvement of the community, unless they are giving funds, unless they are giving some support. So you may have an order where all the hand pumps are handed over to panchayats, but the hand pumps are not working, water is not available, and the panchayats say that this is because it's neither the panchayat's baby nor the department's baby. So this was the situation that we were facing. So we decided to have a more clear incentive index which would measure the extent of devolution of all the 3 X to panchayats in terms of drinking water supply. And this is what we have done. and we gave a substantial sum of money, 850 crores this year is for this incentive fund, and we had about 21 indicators, of which we had indicators on functions, about 8 indicators on functions, 6 indicators of funds, and 5 indicators of functionaries, and 2 indicators of good management. And we gave highest weightage to devolution of funds. 50% of weightage was given to devolution of funds, and next highest was given to devolution of functionaries, and the functions were only 20%. So based on this, we got all information from the states. We calculated the management devolution index for different states based on the documents submitted by them, and taking the population that they claimed was managing the schemes, we distributed this 850 crores. And I mean, the usual states which have done well, for instance, I can say states we have Andhra Pradesh, for instance, got a total of 31 points out of 100. But then the question arose, since there are no panchayats in Andhra Pradesh now, whether we should give it. There we had to again grapple with that. Bihar got only 9.4%. Because Gujarat also, which we expected to be higher, got only 28%. Some of these states did not give proper documents. And as we would expect, Karnataka got 46%, which is highest among all the states, thanks to Dr. Meenakshi Sundaram's efforts and state political efforts of the political leadership of the state. Tamil Nadu got 41% on the index, the second highest, because even though they don't have devolution at district or block level, the Gram Panchayats are quite strong in terms of water supply. So based on this, we have allocated 850 crores and we have released these 850 crores. Now the good news is that this has caught the fancy of the Planning Commission. And the Planning Commission, the committee which was set up in the Planning Commission, recommended that all centrally sponsored schemes should have some funds for incentivizing states to devolve management in their own sectors, whether it is health, education, women and child development, or any other sector, or irrigation. And this has also been now is being taken forward by the Planning Commission. Panchayati Raj Ministry is also now promoting this among different ministries. It is in this context that we had a workshop 2 weeks back where Dr. Desai and Dr. Nagarajan were there together. I was also there. So this is now going forward. Because all these years since 1992, after the 73rd Amendment, all these years of exhortations and have not shown much impact unless. So this is another way of approaching this issue. That on the one hand, you exhort states, you also incentivize the states who are actually devolving. And I can tell you that this is having an impact also, because after these indicators were issued, states got into the act. Some states said, okay, they for the first time they released funds to Gram Panchayats for managing burden of schemes, so that they would get some weightage. Some states started issuing orders, some states. So now the states are looking at the indicators, and we hope that this will, in the course of next few years, help states to move in this direction of greater devolution of functions, funds and functionaries in the rural water supply system. So this is what we have done, and I'm happy to share it with you. I look forward to listening to Dr. Narayan.